You're not needed anymore. Get out. I was hospitalized because I worked too much and started having signs of early labor. Even though I was pregnant, my husband Nate and his mother made me do all the housework. When I started my maternity leave, Nate's sister joined them and said, "You're not working now, so do more." I couldn't say no. I still did the grocery shopping, cooking, laundry, and cleaning, even with my big belly, but in the end, I collapsed and had to be rushed to the hospital. None of them came to see me while I was there. But right before I was supposed to leave the hospital, all three of them showed up. I expected Nate, his mom, and his sister, but the third person wasn't his sister. It was a woman I didn't know. She was pregnant. "You look fine. Maybe that hospital stay was just for attention," she said. "Who is she?" I asked. "My new wife," Nate said proudly. Then he pulled divorce papers from his bag and shoved them at me. "Sign these," he said harshly, forcing a pen into my hand. "I don't want you anymore. Don't come back after you leave the hospital. You're out." His mom and the pregnant woman laughed behind him. I shook with anger. Just then, my father walked in. He had been helping with the discharge papers. "It's been a while," he said calmly. Nate and his mother gave him smug looks. "Thanks for looking after my daughter," my father said. Nate's mom smirked and replied, "Looks like you heard everything. Sharon doesn't belong with us anymore. Take her back to your house." But my father didn't smile. "No," he said, "the one who's leaving isn't Sharon, it's all of you." I suddenly felt sharp pain in my stomach. It hurt so much I couldn't stand, and I was sweating badly. I quickly called my OBGYN, who told me to come in right away. She said I might be going into early labor. I called a taxi. The pain wouldn't stop, and I was scared something was wrong with the baby. At the clinic, the doctor checked me. The baby was okay, but I had to be hospitalized immediately. I knew I had to tell Nate. I called him. After a few rings, he answered, sounding annoyed. "What now? Did you finish getting ready for the party?" I had bad pain and came to the clinic. "I'm being admitted to the hospital." "What? So the party stuff isn't done?" I couldn't. "I had to come here." "Are you kidding me? You should have finished first. We're already on the way home with Wendy's friends." He was angry because I hadn't finished preparing for his sister's birthday party, but I was in the hospital, trying to keep our baby safe. The party's more important than the baby? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Nate always spoiled his sister, but this was too much. He actually chose a birthday party over our child's health. "I'm done," I said, and hung up. I cried after that. This baby was ours, yet I felt completely alone. Nate didn't care, his family didn't care, only my parents were on my side. I called my dad, crying. I stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks because of early labor risk and exhaustion. Only my parents visited me. Nate and his family didn't show up at all. 3 weeks later, when I was finally being discharged, Nate and his mom came, but someone else was with them, a pregnant woman I didn't know. "You look fine," she said. "Wasn't the hospital stay a little dramatic?" "Who is this?" I asked. "My new wife," Nate said proudly. Then he pulled divorce papers from his bag and shoved them at me. "Sign these. You're not coming back. You're out of the house." Behind him, his mom and the woman were laughing. I was shaking with anger. Then my father walked in. "It's been a while, Eleanor." "Nate," he said, smiling. Nate and his mother smirked back. "Thanks for looking after my daughter," my father said. Then Nate's mother added, "We heard your chat. Sharon doesn't belong with us anymore. Please take her back to your place." But my dad's reply shocked them. "No, Sharon's not the one leaving the house, you all are." We all stared at him. Nate laughed and asked, "What nonsense are you talking about?" My dad stayed calm. "Did you know your late father had a lot of debt?" he asked. Nate's mom looked shaken. Nate turned to her. "Is that true?" "Yes, but I thought it was paid off. That's why I didn't tell you." Nate looked relieved, but my dad wasn't done. "To repay the debt, your father borrowed money from me. He used your house as collateral." "What?" "My dad said the house now belonged to him since the debt hadn't been paid, and the man who borrowed the money had died." Nate and his mom were shocked. "I didn't do anything before because Sharon was still living there," my dad explained. "But now, since you're divorcing her, things have changed. You're the ones who need to leave." They were stunned. Then they started panicking. Nate grabbed the divorce papers back. I'm sorry, I'll support you from now on, he said. But my dad stepped forward, holding photos in his hand. Nate, I already have proof of your affair, you'll be paying for it, be ready. He smiled calmly, picked up my things, and walked me out of the room. We didn't look back, even as Nate and his mom shouted behind us. 2 years passed. I had the baby safely and lived with my parents. They helped me raise my son. I didn't have a husband anymore, but I had something better, strong, loving support. My mom, my dad, who adored his grandson, and my little boy made a happy family of 4. Then one day, Nate and his family showed up at our house. They were shouting so loudly that I let them in just so the neighbors wouldn't hear. What happened to your new wife? I asked. She had a baby, but it wasn't mine. They found out through a DNA test that the child wasn't Nate's, so they kicked her out. Then he added, I heard you had a boy. Yes, I'd been told I was having a girl, but I actually gave birth to a boy. You tricked us. I thought it was a girl too, until he was born. That child is mine too, give him to me. They tried to push into the house. What's going on? A man came out from inside. It was my fiancé. When Nate saw him, he froze, then he got angry. You were cheating, what kind of woman are you? Had they forgotten how they treated me? As they shouted, my fiancé laughed. I met her after the baby was born, he said calmly, and weren't you the one who cheated? Should I call the police? Nate and his mom had nothing to say and left, grumbling. You surprised me, I told my fiancé. I could never forgive people who treated you like that, he replied. Also, the baby's sleeping, let's not wake him. I nearly cried. I knew I had found someone truly kind. 4 more years passed. Mommy, hurry up. Okay, hold on. I've got him, my husband said. Our son, with his big backpack, ran ahead. He was starting school today. My husband, who officially became my husband when our son turned 3, watched him proudly. As I wiped my tears watching my son, someone tapped my shoulder. It was one of Nate's old coworkers. He had been at our house that day years ago. Can we talk after this? He asked. I guessed it was about Nate. My husband thought it might help me move on, so I agreed. At a cafe, the man told me everything. Nate's sister never got a job. His mom and sister relied on him for everything. Between that and paying for his cheating, Nate ran out of money. He borrowed from others and got into trouble. One day, after skipping work, some coworkers went to check on him. They saw him being taken away by rough-looking men. No one has heard from him since. The man finished his drink. I felt nothing but relief. I had escaped that life just in time. In fact, maybe I should thank Nate for introducing his mistress and bringing those divorce papers. I'm home. Welcome back, Mommy. Now, I live with my sweet son, my kind husband, and my loving parents. We are happy, and I am finally free.